And following the great macro view from the US, from Australia, from the EU on the transitional opportunities, I'd like to give the view from the increasingly important healthcare sector from one company's perspective. So on the surface, it's been looking like a very tough environment for us, full of pitfalls for business in general in China and around the world. COVID's brought many disruptions, and China bemoans the economic and social burdens of an aging society. It also faces the ongoing challenges of environmental concerns. But actually, we found that all of these threats are also opportunities and value drivers for our company. During the post-COVID transitional period leading up to the 2 sessions, we at United Family Healthcare are focused on 3 big drivers of business opportunity. 1, China's changing demographics. 2, the opportunities of digitization of business and services. And 3, structured pursuit of ESGs as a driver of value. In the interest of time, I'll only speak about the first 2, but I hope that in the future we'll have an opportunity to dive into the 3rd topic. China officially became an aging society in 1999 when the number of aged people 60 or above reached 131 million and crossed the international aging population threshold of 10%. According to the results of China's recent census published last year, the number of people aged 60 or above was 264 million, accounting for almost 20% of the total population. However, China will see an even more rapid growth of its graying population and an even more significant transition in the population age structure starting from the year 2023, when about 10 million people will join the elderly population every year for the next few years from then on. In fact, senior citizens are likely to account for over 30% of China's total population by 2036. These very facts have motivated consumers starting as young as age 40 to seek ways of maintaining good health into their senior years. And recent scientific developments will allow us to begin offering services that will not only prolong our patients' health span, but potentially also their lifespan. This should be great news to the Chinese government, although they seem very concerned about it. Rather than being focused only on the burden of the growing age population, we can also help to keep people healthy and productive for much longer. The demographic change also presents opportunities in treating the traditional diseases of old age, increased demand for elder care, as well as improved hospice care, as well as long-term care. Partially due to concerns of an aging population, and also partially due to the increased awareness brought on by the COVID epidemic, health insurance sales have increased by a CAGR of over 30% in the past 5 years. But even so, penetration is still very, very low, which will allow us to project continued high growth for the foreseeable future. On the other end of the demographic spectrum is the low birth rate. The birth rate in 2021 hit an all-time low, with 10.6 million births, just enough to cover the number of deaths in this year. But the persistent downward trend is even more alarming, with 2022 marking a birth rate 11% lower than 2020, and 2020 18% lower than in 2019. In response, China amended its family planning policies to allow for 3-children families. And last week, Beijing government announced its plan to pay for fertility services. This opens a great opportunity for IVF as well as related pharmaceuticals and supplements. For policy advice related to the above issues, I'd suggest that social health insurance reimbursement be expanded to include prevention services and chronic disease management, in addition to acute disease coverage, and that incentives be given to encourage service providers to enter related healthcare and elder care and long-term care spaces. I also suggest that government policies related to insurance products be liberalized, including allowing companies greater latitude for tax exemptions for employee health benefits. In addition, further Social Security could be provided for those elders who aren't sufficiently covered under current pension arrangements. Finally, I'd encourage greater liberalization of the family planning policies, allowing unmarried women to freeze their eggs, allowing for fertility until later in life. On digitalization, we have seen, again, as a result of COVID, an acceleration of the already existing trend of consumers of all ages being increasingly receptive to digital and online services. This has given us at United Family the opportunity to bring more services online and allowed us to reach populations not only in the 5 cities where we have brick and mortar hospitals and clinics, but to patients across the whole country. Clarification of regulations which encourage online medical services have allowed us to launch our officially licensed internet hospital, bringing convenient online consultations into the homes, offices, and factories of our customers. At the same time, we are restricted from internationalizing this service due to the limitations of the cybersecurity laws. This online capability could also allow for greater collaboration internationally in clinical research. Unfortunately, opportunities for medical research collaboration have been limited by the ambiguities of the human genetics material law. China is not alone in facing demographic, cybersecurity, and environmental problems. It's also not alone in the need to see the end of the COVID epidemic and be prepared for the next potential outbreak. Being open to closer collaboration internationally and re-engaging on the government, science, trade, and people-to-people front will benefit everyone. And so I thank CCG for the work that you're doing in this area, and we hope to continue to be able to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lipson. Thank you for your voice from industry. Now I want to invite another voice from industry, Mr. Leng Yang, Executive Vice President of Daimler Greater China, to share his views and insights.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.